So hey there, I thought I'd give you a quick update on my reef room. I know it's been a long time, and I just thought I'd show you, how things look and some changes that I've made, and just run you through it real quick and see what you think. So here's my BioCube. I added this tank, a 29-gallon BioCube, and honestly, I'm just using the power compacts that came with it. And I've been in the hobby for a long time. 26 years, and so these lights work, and they work actually pretty well, mainly for softies, but I've had SPS in there, including acros, and they seem to do just fine. So anyways, so that's that tank. This is the 120 from behind. I originally had Kessel. I decided to switch it to Hydra 52s HDs because I just wanted a little bit more power, and once I got them dialed in, it took me about 2 or 3 months to get them where I needed them, and so far so good. So I'm happy with those. Here is my pump that's running essentially 5 tanks. Originally it was 7, but I took these 2 tanks. I decided to take those offline because it was just too much. I was getting too much evaporation, too much humidity. So I decided to take those offline. It just wasn't necessary. So I had an issue initially with my first hammerhead, but luckily it was covered under warranty. It was just the seal, and kind of notorious for having issues with those. But I can tell you what, Reef Flow, and they've been excellent to deal with, and they shipped me a new one. Knock on wood, it's been 1.5 years since I've had any issues with this, and so far it's doing just fine. So these 2 tanks, originally I was going to have these as both frag tanks. What I decided to do is, obviously this one's still a frag tank. I've got my Kessel 160 on there, and primarily just frags. So the tank below, which is a 20-gallon long, it's just powered by the cheap LEDs from eBay. It's just the red and blue spectrum, and it seems to do just fine. I've got a ton of Chaeto growing in there. The tank is loaded with it, and I put these on reverse daylight, so these are on essentially during the night when the tank lights are off, and then again they're off when the tank lights are on. So hopefully that helps stabilize the pH. I've noticed that the pH kind of hovers around 8, maybe just above 8, pretty much even at night. So anyways, this is the second system. This is the 50-gallon breeder tank that I have, and this is powered by Kessel 360. This tank is doing just fine. Really, I haven't had any issues with it. Nothing terribly complicated in there, just a bunch of devil's hands, Kenya trees, green star polyps. These cool star polyps right here, which are quite amazing, and yes, they are that intense. I've also got some trumpet coral, fragged out some corals, but this tank has done really well. Haven't had any issues with it pretty much at all. And now this tank is tied into this sump, which is tied into this tank, and this is my 85-gallon tank, and this is powered by 2 AI Hydra 26 HDs. This tank's doing really well too. I've got everything in here. It was just meant to be sort of a frag tank, and it's kind of evolved into this. And it's doing really well. I got SPS, I've got LPS, I've got ZOAs, I've got just about everything. And a lot of the stuff is temporary because I will frag this stuff, but it's kind of a grow out tank. But everything is doing pretty well. The sailfin tang, this guy's kind of a jerk. He doesn't like other tangs, but he's doing good. And the tank itself, and it's real simple. I mean, I kept this real simple. It's just a sump Berlin style pretty much, because if you're old school like me, it just works. And I don't have a refugium. I don't have anything on here just besides, an inlet for the water, a little bit of carbon, skimmer, and return. Keep it simple. And you can see I've got no algae whatsoever in either one of these tanks that are combined on the same system. Never really had algae. And I dose Kalkwasser, and I do water changes every 2 weeks, about 10%. And like literally the back of this glass, my urchin will strip off the core line, but I have not scraped that in, that's 2 years, maybe 3 years, where I haven't even touched that back glass. The front glass, I have to maybe scrub it because I can see a little haze with my magnet, maybe once a week, once every week and a half, but virtually, I get hardly any algae. And this algae that's on here, which is real fine, you can barely even see it. Like I said, that algae in the back, which you can't really tell, that hasn't been scraped in years. So it's done pretty well. It's my big devil's hand. That sucker's about 2 feet long. So I've got that tank. And then over here, this is all connected into the larger system that I showed you earlier. We have just a refugium. I've got some grape chlorpa in there, and this is just a combination of different types of macroalgae in there. And I'm just using the cheap LEDs from eBay, and it's doing just fine. In this tank right here, this is my little 29 BioCube too. I am going to rehome that tank. I'm going to put him in, it's a Scopus tank. I'm going to throw him in another tank, but temporarily he's in there. So this is powered by a Hydra 26 HD. I originally had a Prime on it, HD, and it didn't seem like it was getting enough. For some reason, I've been struggling at times with algae on this tank. And I just set this up not too long ago, but for some reason, it's just been kind of a battle. So I'm working on things and trying to get that straightened out. And there was a mesh top on here that was made out of steel, and so I took that off because it was starting to rust. I suspect that was part of it. And I bought this tank secondhand. Sometimes you never know. And so I just decided to take it off. I'm not really worried about anything jumping out of there, even the wrasse. So we'll see how it goes with that. I'm gonna continue to work on that though, because that's bugging me. I usually don't have too many problems with algae, and this one it's just been a struggle. But I'm hoping that I can eliminate it by going through a series of just one thing at a time, and not making any crazy decisions like taking out the sand, because at one point I thought maybe it was silica sand, maybe there's some silica in there. But I think it could be a combination of different things. I've also dialed down on the light intensity too, but since I've had this tank set up for 4 months, it's just been that way. And the person I purchased it from indicated that as well, that they've been having issues with hair algae, but I did get a good deal on it, so I couldn't pass it up. So this is the filtration. Again, real simple. I have 2 skimmers actually running on this. Everything's running again from that Reef Flow hammerhead. So everything's powered there. I know it's crazy. I've got a lot of pipes here, but it's just real simple. I have carbon in there, and then I also have just the 2 skimmers and some filter pads, which get cleaned out about every 2 weeks. And again, I do water changes on this system. Everything gets a water change about every 2 weeks. The smaller ones, I try to do these cubes. I've been trying to do a 4-gallon water change every week on those, and especially this one. So working on that. Additives, yes, I do keep a schedule because it's important to know when you dose things. I just do strontium, magnesium, iodide, and I've been starting to do the amino acids, so hoping that'll help. But I don't feed the corals. I don't do anything like that. They're probably getting something from the food that I feed the fish, and they're also, getting it from these lights, as well as some of the amino acids that I'm starting to add. So Again, I have mostly photosynthetic coral, so I don't really have to worry about it a whole lot, but I'm really interested to see how this the amino acids work. But I just thought I'd give you a quick update, and I have cameras on my tanks too, because it's important. In my opinion, pictures say 1,000 words, so does video. And what I do is keep an eye on my tank while I'm at work, vacation, etc. But that's about it. So you can see it from this side now. It's just real simple. Got a lot going on. I'm just using Reef crystals and Instant Ocean. Been using that for 26 years, and see no need to change for me. But I'm going to take you out here, and we'll look at my other tank, a larger one from the outside. But overall, I'm pretty happy with everything's progression here. And I must say, I probably should test more, but I'm very keen on looking at the corals, and I usually notice when something's off. I've been in the hobby for so long that it's important to test, it's important to do all those things, but I usually know when something's a little off. So anyways, I'm going to show you my other tank from the front. Excuse the little mess here that I have. And that's a frag tank that I'm going to set up. And so here it is from the front. Now I've gone through some changes on this, so it's evolved. I'm happy with the tank overall, and the pictures and the video don't really do it justice, but the tank is doing good. There's nothing terribly crazy that is very difficult. It's got some SPS in there. Let me get. Those are SPS too. Acros in there, and that seem to be doing just fine. I want to do a mixed reef, but the more and more I think about it, I just love the LPS and the softies, and I do like the acros, but there's something to be said about the flow and the way everything's moved through the water. And like I said, overall I'm happy with the tank, and I've fragged multiple times out of here, and everything seems to be doing pretty well for the most part. So anyways, I just wanted to give you a quick update on it, and there we are after 3.5 years. So probably make some changes at some point, but everything's kind of grown and filling out, and the less I mess with it, the better off I am. So thanks for watching, and I'll give you another update in the spring.